name is Mark Gunther. I, my brothers Pete and Eddie, own and operate Muddy Pond Sorghum Mill. Our parents, John and Emma, came to Muddy Pond in 1965, along with his parents from Saskatchewan, Canada, and her parents from Pennsylvania. They started making sorghum shortly after arriving at Muddy Pond. I do all the field preparation work like plowing and disking with my tractor. I like to use a Perfecta to do the final groundwork. It has S-tines and a rolling basket on the back that break up the clods and makes a very smooth, fine seed bed ready to plant. I have a 4-row Mater-Mac vacuum planter. It plants, applies fertilizer, and sprays a narrow band of herbicide on the rows. I drive 3.5 miles per hour. I like to have the loader on the tractor with the bucket on it because it counterbalances the tractor. The planter is a 3-point hitch and is very heavy, especially when the 100-gallon spray tank is full. I plant 6 acres of cane with 1 tank of herbicide. I use Super Rainbow Triple 13 fertilizer. Super means that it has all the minor elements in it. I use about 175 to 200 pounds of fertilizer per acre. I put the fertilizer 2 inches beside and 2 inches deeper than the planter puts the seed in. I use a 2-row Amish-made riding cultivator. Mules and or horses walk between the rows. There are 2 sets of rolling shields that straddle the row and cultivate each side of the row, breaking up the dirt and rolling fine dirt through the fingers of the rolling shields, putting fine dirt around the plants. I have a steering pedal on each foot that I move on the go as needed, left or right, to keep the cultivator centered on the rows. Of course, I also steer the animals with a line in each hand, left or right, and also a little speed control with those lines. I enjoy working the animals, and the reason I can justify that is we do sorghum making demonstrations, which we use the animals to power the horse-drawn mill. After I've planted the cane and it's up 2 to 3 inches big, I start intently cultivating it. I will cultivate it approximately 3 to 4 times every week and a half until it's too big to cultivate. It does not get 100% of the weeds, so later on then after it's up a ways and absolutely cannot cover up any more weeds, I walk through it and chop out the stray weeds that the cultivating did not get. When the cane is mature, we dehead the cane. The reason for deheading is, number 1, it helps keep the cane from lodging, and secondly, we feel like it yields more sorghum because the growth goes into the stalk, making more juice instead of maturing as seed head. But number 1 is to keep the cane from lodging. Well, as for the pressing, it works pretty good most of the time. We use a 120 horsepower John Deere tractor to pull the press. Probably a 50 or 60 horsepower tractor could power the mill, but the mill weighing approximately 10,000 pounds plus 1,000 gallons of juice behind that weighing approximately 8,000 pounds can make for a very precarious situation on hills, even with a big tractor. When we're pressing, we drive approximately 1/2 mile per hour, making 1,000 gallons of juice in an hour to hour and 20 minutes. Sometimes the breakdowns make me wish I was out there with a machete, cutting cane by hand. "10 years ago, we built a press on a sugarcane harvester, thinking it would help us go through the wet conditions better, and have found out that big tractor tires stay afloat better than bulldozer tracks. The sugarcane cutter has not been used in the last several years. Yes, it takes a mountain of wood to feed that hungry boiler, and a lot of work to do so. A steam pump pumps the return water back into the boiler. That also has its troubles, and we have an electric backup pump. We try to cook at 120 pounds of steam pressure. The best day we ever had was in 2018. We cooked 3,600 gallons of juice and made 477 gallons of syrup from 2 a.m. in the morning and cleaned up by 5 o'clock in the afternoon. We preheat our juice to 160 degrees. Some days there seems to be a lot more skimmings on the pan than other days. The sorghum goes into a 245-gallon stainless steel tank. We have two nieces, Janelle and Michelle, that head up the bottling. They show up at about 9 a.m. in the morning, fetching containers however they have been instructed. Numerous other nieces and wives show up throughout the day and help with the bottling and boxing and moving the sorghum out. They are usually caught up with the bottling when the cooking is through. We also do sorghum making demonstrations. This is quite an endeavor. We take strip cane, wood, 2 mules or 2 horses, a horse-drawn press, a wood-fired furnace, and a small barn to keep the animals in. With this much equipment, it takes a pre-trip a few days before the demonstration to transport and set up the equipment. During the demonstration, I press the juice out of the cane and boil the juice into syrup. The visitors love to see those animals working. They do observe the cooking, but the animals are the main attraction. My wife Sherry is set up next to the demonstration selling our sorghum, sorghum baked goods, sorghum barbecue sauce, and honey. We travel around to quite a few locations, fairs, theme parks, and festivals. There seems to be a big demand for these demonstrations. These demonstrations help us to sell our sorghum, and we have become well known because of them. Our dad passed away December 22nd, 2018. He and our mother got us started with this muddy pond sorghum. I am very thankful for what they got us started in, and my brothers and I will keep pushing forward.